this episode of Travelogue, I head to a land ruled by cowboys and monks, where devout Buddhists carve prayers into the riverbed, and where a modern-day gold rush has changed the status quo. It's even the colour of gold. I've entered a region known as Kham, stretching roughly from eastern Tibet to Sichuan. Here, the men walk with the kind of rugged bravado and swagger that somehow seems appropriate for the frigid steppes of the Tibetan plateau. Getting here was another issue. It took me 2 flights, from Beijing to Chengdu, and from there to Kangding, and then a taxi ride to get to Tagong. But as soon as I saw our mustachioed, cowboy hat-toting driver, I knew we were all but there. I've come at the invitation of my friend, Fu Gui, a local Kham Tibetan, who wants to take me to see a modern-day gold rush happening in the mountains not far from Tagong. But first things first, I've got to grab a room in one of the many family-owned guest houses here. There we go, I think it's good. I mean, it's basic, right? But we've got all of the necessities. Most importantly, we've got electricity. Time to set our stuff down. Hey, welcome to Tagong. You know, for most tourists, this place is just a one-street town and a stopover before they head off to more famous destinations like Bamba or Xinduqiao. But I'm here because a friend of mine is going to take me deep into the sacred Yala Snow Mountain range and go hunting with locals for a kind of magic fungus that's worth more than twice its weight in gold. Despite its gruff exterior, Tagong is a major centre of religious learning, and kids from across Sichuan will come here to study and become lamas. Makes sense then that other than the restaurants and grocery stores, most shops here are filled with religious knickknacks and occasionally cowboy gear. My first port of call is Tagong Monastery. It's rather strange to see such a grand monastery in a town of just 8,000 people. But there's a reason behind all this extravagance. This was one of the earliest monasteries in Kham, dating back some 1400 years, to when Princess Wencheng, the bride-to-be of the Tibetan king, brought Buddhism to Tibet. Legend goes that the Buddha himself chose to be enshrined here, and pilgrims will travel far and wide to come here and pay their respects, hopefully accruing enough good karma for a better rebirth. This place is considered on a par with the leading monasteries in Tibet, and the main reason for this high status is found in the adjacent building. Inside is the most important treasure of Tagong Monastery. Such an incredibly detailed statue. In fact, this is a statue of the Buddha himself that is over 1,000 years old and goes back to a time when Princess Wencheng was making her way to Lhasa, and when she stopped off in Tagong, a replica of the Buddha was made here, and people believe that if you come to Tagong to worship the Buddha, it's the same as going to the Jokang Monastery in Lhasa. the Jowo Sakyamuni, the most sacred statue for Tibetans, said to have been blessed by the Buddha himself. I must admit, when I entered the hall, I felt a sense of awe too. There was just something reverent about it all. Back outside, I get a call from Fugui, who wants to show me something special on the outskirts of town.
Probably one of the best ways to get around here is either by motorbike or by horse.
At first, I had no idea what I was looking at, but then it dawned on me. An entire riverbed of mani stones. What's most astonishing is that all of them were hand carved by people like these. It's like a construction site for prayers.
您是从哪儿过来的呀？
我是甘孜州丹巴过来的。
丹巴过来的。
对呀、
专门来咱们这儿的吗？
啊，专门来画这个佛像。
怎么从那么老远过来的呀？
啊，这个活佛请我画这个菩萨。再过一段时间下雨了，就这个水大了，就这个画不起。
那水大的时候不会把这个菩萨淹没了吗？
啊，一般可能淹没了。还有这些那个麻栗子啊，那些都淹没了。但是水走的话，那个佛教来讲的话很有好处。比如说我们自己念的一样的，水把它撵起走了，这样的。
要是水一过了，是等于是你们念了，还是他是给大家念的呀？
大家念的。前期这有生命的，给他们在开这个。
刻这么多东西还挺贵的，挺费时间的哈。
啊，是，但是我们这个是不是挣钱的？为了那个佛，自己信佛就过来就。
你们是当地人吗？
不是，
不是，从哪儿过来的呀？
桃富。
从道孚过来的。哦，我发现其实这个工作也挺危险的，一砸就那个好多石头就出来了哈。哦是。
一砸起金子就出来了。
啊，这黑色的金子，是咱们每一个人一块石头吗？还是？哦，怎么分配的呀？很多人哈，一块都来了刻这个。那咱们是一整个村都过来，还是咱们几个家里的朋友？
自己愿意。
哦。
自己愿意。
哦。
This is the result of their devotion and hard work. Beautiful works of art, bringing goodwill to the world. Coming up next, our expedition to hunt for precious caterpillar fungus takes us through Tagong's wild and uncompromising landscape on a trek we'll never forget. In this episode of Travelogue, I head to a land ruled by cowboys and monks, where devout Buddhists carve prayers into the riverbed, and where a modern-day gold rush has changed the status quo.
Even the color of gold.
It's the second day, and Fugui is taking us to look for some rare and valuable caterpillar fungus.
Off we go.
Oh. This is where our adventure truly begins. It may look like easy riding for now, but in order to find our treasure, we have to head deep into the Yala Snow Mountain Range and camp there overnight.
You know, I've ridden horses before, but they're mostly at tourist attractions. You don't have to do anything with a horse, they'll just walk up automatically. But here, even though people have motorbikes, they have cars, they still take horses up into the mountains to go search for caterpillar fungus, because that's what they did hundreds if not thousands of years ago. It's what they still do now. This place is not a tourist trap, this is real life. So we've come here to let our horses have a bit of a rest, eat some grass, and this is a nice high viewing point. Actually, there are a couple of people, as you can see, who are racing horses earlier, but over there is quite a large nunnery where a lot of nuns from all across Sichuan and even Tibet have come to continue their learning, but we can't stay for very long because I mean it's been like 3 hours and we're only about a fifth of the way there, so we really need to get moving.
It turns out there are no roads, and in order to reach our campsite, we need to climb to the top of the mountains and then back down again. The weather up here also changes at the drop of a hat. Sunny 1 minute, hailing the next. You end up soaking wet inside and out. Don't even get me started on altitude sickness.
Literally breathless. The altitude is 4,642. Lost some luggage, so our wranglers scrambled back to the bottom of the mountain to come and bring it up. Here we are. Top of the mountain range is over there. From here on out, we're gonna lose signal. No more contact with the outside world. Snow is coming in from over there. We've got 1.5 hours to make it to that mountain ridge over there before the light goes out. So we really need to make a move on.
After the snow, the other side of the mountain is a different, beautiful world. But honestly, by this point, I don't care. Despite the fact we're descending the mountain, it doesn't get any easier at all. It's freezing, and all of us are running on fumes. We've reached our limit.
Oh, I can't believe it. Finally, after nearly 10 hours. Oh, you have no idea how those tents pitched over there look to me. Oh, this is heaven. All I want to do is just lie down and sleep. Oh God, only a little bit left to go.
Home at last! And what a welcome! It seems like the entire camp has turned out to help us. I suppose they haven't seen any new visitors for a while.
Looks like we've come to the right place. got the best location in this makeshift city. Meanwhile, we're working hard to set up our tents while everyone else is having fun. But it shouldn't take too long. Plus everyone was so helpful earlier.
两边都是一样的啊。到就是了，记得，到就是了，记得。
I realise as the sun goes down, it gets really, really cold. Hey.
We're settled in and can finally call it a day. Life is peaceful here.
Oh, I've got to say, trek for nearly 10 hours. Finally was able to set up tent. We had such a warm welcome, and now we're in someone else's tent, and it's just absolute perfect end to the day. Just as long as I don't choke on these spicy noodles that my director gave me.
Coming up next, I joined the gold rush to try and bag an elusive caterpillar fungus and come to terms with just what it means for the livelihoods of the local Tibetans.
양고.
I've got to tell you, that was absolutely the coldest night I've ever spent in my entire life. As soon as I got into bed, I took off some of my outer layers and I got into my sleeping bag thinking that would be enough. But every 10 minutes after I'd gone to sleep, I would wake up shivering from the cold, and I'd put on another layer of what I'd taken off, and eventually I put on every single piece of my clothing that I'd taken off, and it still wasn't enough. Throughout the entire night, every 20 minutes I would wake up, and I was woken up today actually by the sound of people reciting mantras, a bit different to your usual alarm call, and I think everyone's gone out already, so I better go catch up. Just as long as I could get my frozen fingers to tie my shoelaces. Okay.
In traditional Chinese medicine, caterpillar fungus is used to treat anything from cancer to fatigue to failing sexual prowess. It can only be found between May and July every year. But during these months, a picker can earn more than his entire year's income just from selling caterpillar fungus. Maybe that's why in the midst of this snowstorm, everyone is still heading out.
So the hunt begins. There are already a load of people up on the hill searching for caterpillar fungus, so we're a bit late to the game, and it's also hailing, but gonna try our luck.
The key to finding caterpillar fungus is to look for a small brown sprout in the soil, about the length of a fingernail.
我给你一块吧。
别去哦，带个人家不。
我把你的乐器都马上弄走了，是吧？
弄走多点的。
Sometimes it's right under your nose. You just can't see it.
I have no idea how this lady was able to find this caterpillar fungus. That's massive too. Oh. Okay, so you gotta get rid of the dirt around it. Oh, you can hear how happy she is. It's like finding gold.
What?
Whoa! Oh my god. Look at how big this piece is. That is exactly like finding gold, isn't it? Check it out. It's even the color of gold. Oh.
After extracting the caterpillar fungus, the pickers will put back any soil they've dug up, so as not to leave behind any damage. Supposedly, the only people who aren't very good at this are us guys, since we're all too impatient. Experienced eyes might have found several in my patch already, but all I can find is stuff like this, or this, and this.
The scenery's nice. I give up. It's too hard.
But while I'm chilling out, it seems like someone hit the jackpot. Again.
又找着了，又是你啊！阿姐，你这运气太好了。
哇！哦，可以扫掉吗？看一下它怎么长得什
这个
么样子。
留给，
阿姐，我买了它可以吗？可以吗？See this? For the sake of travelogue, for the sake of travelogue, I'm spending £4 on a piece of grass that used to be a caterpillar. But I want you to see what it actually looks like before it's dried and sold off in the markets you can find elsewhere. 阿姐，你帮我扫一下，我想看看。So delicate because you know it's only yay big. It's not, isn't it? I mean, if you could find a caterpillar fungus as thick as my little finger, then that would be worth a hell of a lot of money. But this one is worth quite a bit by itself, and if she even picks off a little bit of meat, that's already a lot of value taken off this caterpillar fungus. Oh wow, it's like I'm holding treasure. Really afraid to break this. There we go, fresh caterpillar fungus. This is I believe the tail. You have 4 pairs of legs, 1, 2, 3, 4. The larvae of the ghost moth that lives at altitudes between 3,000 to 5,000 meters above sea level. This is the head here. In winter, the larvae is alive and it eats what it can find on the mountains. When it eats this fungus, the fungus goes inside of its body and doesn't sprout until summer. In summer, the fungus, the parasite basically, takes over and this growth comes out of the head of the caterpillar. That's why it's called in Chinese 冬虫夏草, which essentially is winter worm, summer grass. And this is the magic pill, or the magic medicine, as you wish, that so many people search for, so many people buy, and this one little caterpillar fungus can provide livelihoods for so many people here. It's amazing.
But as if it wasn't already hard enough to find them, the snow is now making it impossible to see anything.
I've got to give it to the ladies over here. I mean, it is absolutely hailing right now, and they're still up on the slopes on hands and feet searching for caterpillar fungus. I don't even know how to do it, and it is absolutely the hardest manual labour I have ever seen. But it's hailing now, and I think it's about time to go back home.
The weather is as unpredictable as finding caterpillar fungus. But as a reward for all that hard work, Fugui is going to show me a well-kept local secret.
So, after a long, hard day's work of looking for caterpillar fungus, possibly the best way to relax is at these natural hot springs that Fugui is just taking me to. No entrance fee, nothing man-made, 100% natural. Lucky I bought my swimming suit. Hello. Hey. Hey. Are you going to go to the hot spring too? Maybe after we're done. Where have you come from?
It's really warm here.
Yeah.
I'm from Germany.
From Germany?
Yeah.
Oh wow, what brings you over here?
Traveling and seeing the nice country.
Oh yeah? How did you find the trek up here?
Very nice, but I was surprised by the snow
Yeah.
yesterday evening. So.
Yeah. How long did
really
you?
cool.
How long did it take you to get up here?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. 4 hours, 5 hours.
Oh, that's okay. It took us much longer. All right then. Good luck. I won't
thank
delay
you.
your trip. All right. Take it easy. Bye. Anyway, back to taking off all my clothes. Yes. Oh. I could stay here all night. I don't even need to go back to the tent in the evening. I'll just stay here. I could just sleep here and I'll be happy. 舒服了，太舒服了，太舒服了。
但是泡个脚洗好漱口，然后我们过去，
这挺干净的，
真是干净。
There's no fee, of course, but people here have a belief that if you've come to this hot spring and you've soaked in it and you've healed all sorts of problems. I do feel my feet are much lighter and my knees feel much better. Then you should stick some money on the rock here to wish for your own good health. There you go. Some on each of the edges like that, and then bam. Nice, brand new note on the rocks above. Gonna be a healthy fella.
Ah, that was great. But what I'm most excited about now is checking out today's haul.
每年都到的，啊，每年都到的。
今天你们找到多少根虫草了呀？
今天我找了6根
6个
，6根，
，6个。阿佳呢？
阿佳找了10根。
哎呀，我知道阿佳这眼力最好嘛。
是。
哎，那除了这个虫草，还是靠以什么别的靠生活？
别的就是没有什么。
那就是主要虫草了。一年就是虫草。
一年就是虫草的。
那要是原来没有虫草，那就损失挺大了吧？
原来我也不知道，以前是他们是怎么过的，我也不知道。
哦，你从小就开始挖虫草啊？
是的，
你从多大开始？
我从是11就开始。
啊，那就是从来没有过一个没有虫草的辈子。
没有。
I guess it doesn't seem as important to us, just getting this one little piece of caterpillar fungus, but for their family, it's their sole source of income. You just can't imagine what they would do without the caterpillar fungus and the income that it brings.
My time here has been short, but I'm glad I was able to spend a day in the life of a 21st century treasure hunter. Still living off the land, but in a different way.
Well, that's it. We're all packed and ready to go, but as for the rest of the caterpillar fungus pickers, it's just another day for them. And we've got to admit, this kind of life is not easy. You have to trek deep into alpine valleys, have to sleep at sub-zero temperatures, and you have to get up and scour acres of mountain just to find one little caterpillar. But it's not without its charms, The scenery here is beautiful. You have hot springs where you can soak your aching body in, and you have such a festive community here when everyone comes here at night to share stories. And at the end of the day, they reap the biggest reward in the form of this piece of gold.
this episode of Travelogue, I head to a land ruled by cowboys and monks, where devout Buddhists carve prayers into the riverbed, and where a modern-day gold rush has changed the status quo.
It's even the colour of gold.
Perhaps one of the last Wild West towns in the world. Only it's in China, and the cowboys here are Tibetan. I've entered a region known as Kham, stretching roughly from eastern Tibet to Sichuan. Here, the men walk with the kind of rugged bravado and swagger that somehow seems appropriate for the frigid steppes of the Tibetan plateau. Getting here was another issue. It took me 2 flights, from Beijing to Chengdu, and from there to Kangding, and then a taxi ride to get to Tagong. But as soon as I saw our mustachioed, cowboy hat-toting driver, I knew we were all but there. I've come at the invitation of my friend, Fu Gui, a local Kham Tibetan, who wants to take me to see a modern-day gold rush happening in the mountains not far from Tagong. But first things first, I've got to grab a room in one of the many family-owned guest houses here.
可以吗？可以可以。
There we go. I think it's good. I mean, it's basic, right? But we've got all of the necessities. Most importantly, we've got electricity. Time to set our stuff down. Hey, welcome.